Hello everyone, Councilman Council Alsawafy here, and I'm excited to be with Fire Chief Murray, talk about the fire department, spend the day with our local heroes. Fire Chief, thank you for being here. Can you tell me a little bit about the fire department, where it's going, some of the future activities that you guys have, programs for our residents, overview of the department?
Sure, absolutely, and thanks for coming. We love having you here. So the fire department's doing very well. We're at 151 firefighters right now. That's the largest our department has ever been. We've actually increased some numbers over the years because of our increase in run volume, so to meet demand on the run volume.
What is that like? What is the volume like? How much of an increase have we seen in the last year or year to date maybe?
So we go up a few percentage points a year. So probably for the last 5 decades, we've gone up every single year. We're on pace to hit 18,000 calls, which is a very busy fire department.
All right, Chief, how does your department engage with the community to promote fire safety?
So we do a number of things. So throughout the year, we make visits to various schools, classrooms, and we talk to the students about fire safety. We've also tried to engage too about trying to recruit some of these young people to get interested in fire service career. But yeah, we engage every third grader in the entire city of Dearborn. Comes through our smokehouse over here, where we fill it up with smoke. We teach children how to get out of in the case their house catches on fire, to stay low and go, and the stop, drop, and roll, and all the
I remember that.
all the rhymes that
fun.
absolutely. So we actually are just investing some funding into the smokehouse to get it cleaned up and some minor repairs and stuff. So that's good for another generation.
Okay, Chief, so we get this question a lot, and you've heard that before as well. If you are having a medical emergency, do you have an option to choose on what medical facility to go to? Is that an option, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's a great question. We get it all the time. So the answer is sometimes. Where we can transport a patient is dictated by our medical director and the protocols that he puts in. So all paramedics work under a physician's license, and they dictate our treatment protocols. So for instance, if you're having a heart attack, we're gonna take you to Corewell, because they have a cath lab that's ready to go. So if you have to get a heart catheterization, they can take you right there. They don't have that at our Henry Ford facility. If you were burned, I would take you down to receiving. They have a specialized burn unit there. So each hospital has some different specialties. If you call and it's a general, like a broken ankle or something minor, we have a little bit more leeway where we can take you to the hospital of your choice. Yep.
And I know a lot of residents, they even reach out to me and say, why does a fire truck go out to a medical emergency? Because they look out the window, they see a fire truck, they see the ambulance, and there's no fire, and they're just wondering, hey, why is the fire truck there? Are we wasting resources, is what it appears, and some of the questions I got. So what is your response to that?
That's a great question. I get this question all the time. So there's 2 reasons why you would see a fire engine on a medical run. One is the ambulance is on another call somewhere. So we send the fire engine to your location while another ambulance is coming from a different part of the city.
Because it has some of that equipment that's needed.
Yes, so all of our engines, ladders, and ambulances all have advanced life support equipment on there. So they all can provide the same level of care, but only the ambulance can actually transport the person. So we'll send the engine out to get a patient stabilized while we're waiting for the ambulance from another part of town. So that's one reason. The other reason that you would see an engine is if, depending on the call, if it's very serious in nature. So for instance, you're having a heart attack, we're gonna send an ambulance and an engine, so we have more firefighters on scene to take care of you. So we have one guy starting an IV on you, one person giving you medication, one's giving you oxygen, one's taking your medical history. So we want to do all these things simultaneously to give you the best chances of a positive outcome.
All right, Chief, what's a recent challenge or some trends that you're seeing that residents should be aware of as far as a safety precaution?
Sure, well, one of the biggest things that we're monitoring right now is the introduction of batteries in a lot of the electric bikes, your power drills, your power tools. Those kind of batteries are really causing a lot of problems. We've seen in the city of New York, they've had more high-rise fires in the last few years than they've had in a long, long time. A lot of these batteries, people are bringing in their electric bikes into their houses or their apartments and overcharging them, and they're catching fire. Sometimes these batteries occur damage, and that damage can actually set them off to a thermal regulation where they'll actually catch fire themselves. So what we're trying to really get across to residents is there's no code on the book quite yet. We're still in the middle of all that, but if possible, don't store these batteries inside your house. Either keep them out in the garage, in another storage locations if you can. Obviously, many of these bikes are very expensive, so we understand the concerns there, but they are catching fire. And the other thing we'd like to tell people is when you're buying batteries or replacement batteries for your drills or for your tools or what have you, buy the one from a known manufacturer, either in the US or Canada, that's been tested by UL. We're seeing a lot of knockoff brand batteries getting purchased from China, from other locations, that aren't built to the same standards, and they're causing a lot of fires.
Okay, Chief, so a lot of vehicles are changing on the road. We used to have all gas vehicles, now we have electric vehicles, which propose their own challenges. I know you use the jaws of life. When you're cutting through an electric vehicle, you have high power lines going through, or high voltage lines. How do you deal with that, and what kind of training are you providing to your personnel?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and electric vehicles do pose many unique challenges to us. So we try to get ahead of it early on. So we've done a lot of research and studying with Ford Motor Company and some of their engineers, as well as just yesterday we're out with the schools with their new electric buses going through them. So we've had a lot of training with our firefighters where we've actually taken these vehicles apart and show them the different components, show them how the battery packs, everything sits in there, so they know what they can safely cut and what they can't. So, so our firefighters have been really highly engaged in that training. They do pose significant risk though, because once the batteries take off on those, they can keep reigniting on themselves. So we have had probably 4 or 5 electric vehicle fires where the batteries have gone off. And
is this during an accident or just in the driveway?
Some of them have been overcharged, or there was a charging issue. Some of them have been because of an accident. So those are generally the 2 reasons why these vehicles catch on fire. But on whole, in Dearborn, we've only had 5, and there's tens of thousands of them. You know, they're being produced right here, so that's actually really good. But they are unique challenges, and they can burn for a long time. So we are working with different. I just had a meeting with the tow truck company, where they're actually bringing out basically a large steel dumpster. They're putting the vehicles in there and we're filling them with water because the batteries keep reigniting, so it takes a long time. So there's a lot of different things going on. We tested out a blanket where we could put over a vehicle to at least knock the flames down so we could pull it out of a garage or something like that. But we are kind of following the most current trends and the recent technologies out there, and doing that alongside training. So.
Okay. All right, Chief, so you know this council, we 100% support the department, the fire department. I know you work really hard on providing or getting grants for the department as well. What are those grants being used for? What are some notable technologies that we're adding to the department that residents can look forward to seeing?
Sure. So just recently we purchased almost $1 million grant, our SCBAs. So there's state-of-the-art SCBAs. That's the air tanks the firefighters wear. So right on their mask, they have a heads-up display. It tells you how much air you have. They have low air alarms. The materials that they're made out of now are much easily decontaminated. Obviously, firefighters have a high percentage of cancer because of all the exposures. So that is very important for us. Very much ergonomically better for our firefighters to make them, allow them to move more freely on the fire ground, which helps everything. That's one thing. We just are in the middle right now of researching and procuring new thermal imaging cameras. So. Which allow us, you know, people always think when you go in the fire, they see the TV, it's all orange and there's flames everywhere. When you go in a house fire, you can't see anything. It's all black smoke. Everything's made of plastic, so all the smoke is black. So you can't see anything. So these thermal imaging cameras, you know, they track heat, so they allow us to kind of see what's going on inside of the house, where ordinarily you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. So those are some of the new equipment, and then we also implemented a new records management system. Which is very much helping us with our accreditation process and making sure that we can quality control all of our runs and our information, so that we can make sure that we're providing the best care, the best fire suppression, the best of everything, and compare it with national standards.
Well, Chief, I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate this overview, and thank you for your service to our city.
Absolutely. Thank you, and thank you for all your support on the council.
Absolutely. Happy to support.